Welcome to our photography tips and tricks, brought to you by Shadi Malouf Photography. This program is about creative and artistic photography, using water drops and liquids. In this episode, we will learn simple layout, simple and cheap water droplet mechanism system, lighting and camera layout, as well as other useful tips, which can help us take great shots. But first, let's imagine how the main layout would look on a piece of paper.
Hi, so we're going to have a look for the camera and its accessories in our shooting. I'm using my professional 1D Mark IV Canon DSLR camera, and you can use any early entry camera, any normal DSLR, professional, semi-professional, it will do the job. Also, I'm using a macro lens, which is in this case 100mm. It's a Canon and with a stabilizer, and also I'm going to use the cap for it, because just to take off any flares might come from the reflection of the water or from the flashes. I'm using maybe three flash guns, which can be mounted separately from the camera, which can be used to in different type of corners. Just we're going to try and some lighting for the water, and just to make it better, so you have more flexibility in choosing your own lighting angle. The most important thing is that wire trigger for the shots, which is very important, just to eliminate any shakes, because for the macro and magnification of the shots itself, so you don't end up with a blurry shooting. Also, these flash guns, forgot to say, they come with a mounting shoe, just to make it just stand up like that. Also this one, this is the third small one. This is a wireless trigger with a diffuser, some jelly just we can put on with an elastic over the flashes, just to give it certain kind of a mood for the picture taken. Lots of battery, of course. And now we're going to see the setup for the lighting and setup for the whole mechanism and the whole shooting.
Let's talk a bit about the liquids used for this shooting. Each type of liquid has different texture, thickness, and would make different shapes. In this shooting we are using normal clear water, colored water with some food coloring, oil paint, milk, coffee and liquid cream. Always remember, when shooting liquids and water drops, be careful not to damage your camera and accessories, and keep tissues and mops close to you at all time. For the water drops equipment, you can find online, and in some specialized stores, many equipment with electronic accurate drops regulator and valves, which can cost up to $500. At Shadi Malouf Photography, we opted for a much cheaper, easy and simple solution, which still gives us great results. We use IV needles with its drops regulator, and hard plastic serum bag, a much cheaper solution, and available everywhere. For the main layout, use a normal table, preferably with a removable glass top surface, that you can remove, in case you want to position your flash underneath the water tank to get different lighting results. You can also use a white semi-transparent plexi sheet and place it under the water tank. It serves as a light diffuser and also prevents reflections in the final images. Shadi is using a normal shallow glass plate as a water container. Choosing what type of water container depends on the type of images you want to capture. For the water drop system, you can use a tripod with an extended head that serves as a chassis to hang on it the serum bag or the water bag. Be careful to fix it properly so it does not fall due to the weight of the water bag hanged. When fixing your camera, remember always that you are shooting macro photography. So always use a sturdy tripod to avoid any shakes, thus avoiding blurry images. Place your camera as close as possible to the water container and check your composition through the viewfinder. It is preferable to place your camera at the level of the water container for better composition. For the lighting, use a flash remote trigger and set your flash accordingly. Many wireless remote trigger exists in the market. Some are radio-based and some are infrared-based. In this shooting, Shadi is using an infrared remote trigger attached to the camera. Use your flash in manual mode so you can have more control over the light power, as well as the ambience and temperature you want to add to your images. For your subject background, use a cardboard and place it behind the water container. At the beginning, a black cardboard is used since Shadi wanted more contrast to the water droplets and colors in his images. Check your flash guns and place them at both corners behind your subject. You can also put a third light source underneath the water tank to lit up from the bottom, so more lighting effect can be brought to your shots. For getting the right focus, use any object and place it in the tank where the water drops will fall. Check your composition and use your manual exposure to have a clear image over the part you capture in your image. Now, hang the water bag over the container using the tripod head, but always make sure it is firmly attached so it does not fall under its own weight. Use the drop regulator attached to the water bag and adjust the number of drops passing through it. A bit of practice will surely enable you synchronize the water drops so you can capture great shots. If your flashes are giving hard light onto your images, you can always cover the flash heads with tracing paper and the light will be more subtle and diffused. Take many pictures, and always remember checking the images on your camera's LCD, should any adjustments to the lights, exposure, or focus are needed. Try a white background, or any other color as a background. This will give multiple effects, and new color reflections onto the water shapes. You can also use as background, sanded glass, but remember changing the position of your flashes behind the glass. Don't forget increasing the power of the flashes, since the sanded glass is a thicker diffuser, and less light will get through it. Changing the camera position and lighting your subject from the top will also give new shades and new composition opportunity. But always remember, adjust your flash power and check your exposure as well as your focus. Using different watercolor and different liquid types will give you certainly new forms, shapes and composition opportunity. For additional shapes and composition, use a fish water tank and put a black card right on the back of it to avoid any reflections and unwanted shades.
This is the second setup I'm using to have some new shots taken with water drops as well as within a tank and using different kind of liquid just to see how it will react to the water, the shapes it will take. I'm using for this setup the following. This is a tripod that I'm using just to hold the flash gun from up tank. I'm I'm using two other flash guns, one on the left, one on the right, just to also lit the flash, the cut drops inside the water tank and on the drop coming in from three directions, one from the top and two from the side. Within the shots itself, I'm taking the frame just so I can capture also from this side the top of the water, so you can see also what kind of water effect and the drop and the color you can make on the surface. So it's approximately, I'm just giving you, so from the lens camera, so it's about 80 centimeter, which with the magnification also and cropping on the software, you can just zoom in more since you have large of megabyte and large number of pixels. So you won't lose any of the clarity of the picture taken. Always remember that keep the surface very much clean, so it will eliminate a lot of post-processing work afterwards.
Use your wire trigger to capture your images while dropping the liquids into the water tank. Take as many shots as possible, and always remember to check your camera's LCD, ensuring that you are right in focus. When you change colors of the liquid dropped, you need to change the water of the fish tank. You don't want any bad mixtures in your composition. Remember to check your flash power, exposure and ISO. Benefit from your digital camera, and take as many shots as needed. Shadi, in this shooting, took over 1,500 images. And finally, try taking different angles for your shots.